Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's August 16th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and our trend continues higher. It looks like we pushed up. We finally were able to push through this resistance level here at 40, whatever that is. I forget what it is, 42.99 or something like that. I believe, if I remember right. Yeah, around 42.99, 4,300 basically. We did close through that. Well, there's some stem up there. You can see the price range is getting tighter. If we are headed to this upper trend line, we are very, very close. I mean, if we went there on the next day, you're looking around 43.50 or so, maybe. Um, we'll have to see. Um, Someone did send me an email and set me straight on this. It's not cayenne, it's cyan. At least that's what I've been told. So going forward, I will call this cyan. So I thanks for that note because I was too lazy to go look it up. Be honest with you. And so it's nice somebody sent me an email and tell me how to properly pronounce that color. So cyan, it is. But anyway, we're still looking for a turn down here. We're still severely overbought here, and it just continues to get more overbought every day. So I got a feeling when this thing does turn, we're either going to continue higher or this thing is going to turn, and when it does, it's going to turn hard and probably drop pretty quickly. It doesn't mean we're going to go straight to a new low, but we'll probably get a big sell-off temporarily, something like what we saw here. We might even see something like that. Who knows? So, but if it continues higher past this trend line, then it's possible. We're just in a we're in a strong rally and this thing may keep going. So at this point, I'm still leaning towards a new low. So anyway, let's flip over to the 2,000 tick chart. Not a lot of trades today. You had to be patient. They were all kind of in mid to late morning, and then not much. There was a huge sell-off and not much chance at all to get into that at all, unfortunately. So limited trading, but there's still plenty of trades today. You just had to be patient and wait on them. But let's flip over there and go through those trades, and it won't take long today. And you can see we started off in this really tight range. Look how low look at the overnight volume. Hardly anything going on. Even this early morning, much volume. And then suddenly it fails out the bottom, which those are often important lows, and it rallies straight up. I mean, it rallies straight up from around 42.80 to 43.25, 28, somewhere in that range. And then as fast as actually faster than it went up, it takes most of that back and then bounces one more time and closes a little bit higher, but well off its highs of the day. So kind of an odd day. I mean, maybe it's just a bigger range, and this was support and the resistance up here, and we just didn't test it very often. I didn't even try to drag it up, but let's just drag it up there and look. And yes, indeed, it's just I mean, you can see the midline there. We've tested it from both sides pretty consistently, so I mean, the way it looks, it's probably a big range day. I didn't really help you because you didn't know where the highs were till we made them. So I think you're probably better off sticking with this tighter range for now, or early on, and then going with the trends to wrap up the day. That's the way I traded it and saw it. So, but anyway, let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades. 7 o'clock came just as we're kind of working back up here to this high, and you actually have a trend channel right here, and you get a close outside and but you don't get a setup there, and it runs down, and you get a first entry there, no setup, and the second entry, no signal bar, and it fails pretty quickly and goes the other way, and there's just no way to get in this. I don't see anything in here I like. This one was somewhat tempting. You might say, okay, you tested it once, twice, 3 times, but they don't really match up. I think you're better off to wait and look at that congestion anyway. And we just keep going sideways. I don't see anything there worth trading. We drop out. You're not really down to the lows, so I don't think you want to try picking a bottom here. You get a higher low here, but pretty much looks like a doji, and it's right into the EMA, right into the midline of this channel, the blue channel, right into the support resistance of the pink range, congestion, whatever you want to call it. And we actually run up, and you actually get a second entry short here, but it's still inside this green channel. It made a new high, so I think you would want to wait on a lower high, and you don't get it. The bottom just falls out. It runs straight down here and bounces. But notice you get a triple test down here and a really nice signal bar. And it does make a double bottom or a higher low than this previous one. So I like going long right there. Even though we're still inside this channel, if we're probably going to get a break and a bounce here, and we may go all the way back to the other side. So I like that one. You actually do get a failed second entry here, but it's below the EMA. It doesn't set up properly. And then, of course, you get two legs up, and now you get a second entry short here with a big bearish bar. It's actually an engulfing bar. You could still go short below it, but you could actually trade that one on the engulfing bar and go short one tick below the green bar if you wanted to. You can see the resistance up here that we've had, and this actually makes a little lower high after a break and a new high and two swings to a new high. So I tend to like that one. We get another second entry short right here on a lower high. You could actually call this as a failed second entry, but the second entry shorts, the bar's too bullish, and it's above the EMA, so it's just, and look how flat the EMA is. It's just not a good place to enter. We do come down here and get a triple test, but that looks like congestion. 3 bars stacked side by side, and we're not really rejecting out of there. You might take it anyway on a triple test, just if you got enough room back to the EMA, because you see it went right back to the EMA and then turned down. You definitely don't want to go short into that support, especially with the next part just being right here, because it could break through and turn right back up. Turns out to be a nice move down, but you just can't risk it. And of course, you get a failed breakout. Here, I'd wait on the higher low before I tried to enter. And no signal bar here. So now let's see if we get a reversal, which we do. Bounces off the EMA, the previous support line, gives you a really bullish bar. I like going long there, just to hope, because it looks like we're going to reverse back into the range. It's good for an easy scalp, but you don't get much more than that, and then you're kind of chopping sideways. There's another higher low right here. And you could call that is a second entry, because you're making you swing higher. So first entry, second entry. It's just not, we're just not seeing rejection there, which it should take off. In this case, I'd wait and see if you get a higher low, which you do here, and it's also a failed second entry short. So if it breaks higher there, it's probably going to take off, and sure enough, it does. And it just goes, and until we get a close outside. There's a little hidden second entry right there, but I don't think I would trade that. Runs up, makes a new high, and you get a first entry, and then when it breaks higher there, that's a second entry, and it does confirm that trend line. I drew this down on the low end, but I really think it's probably up here. And the reason we couldn't get back up here is because to this trend line is because the main one over, it's just, it kind of is the more dominant pattern. So I like that as a second entry long. You could also look at it as a failed second entry short or whatever. I don't think I would enter again here when it comes back one more time, because it looks too congested with too much resistance across there. But if you entered here, just hang on, and it ends up working out. And then you come back here and you get a first entry, second entry. This was another one. Maybe you take that trade. I don't like it because it's right off the EMA, but we just came off the high, so there's a good chance we're headed down. And if you draw your little trend channel there, that's the first close outside. So I'm just not crazy about it. And you can see it does run to a new high. Would have worked. but it definitely looks congested. You definitely have the little short-term channel with no close and new low. It's kind of an odd spot because we just came off the highs, although the EMA can be a key entry point. It's not setting up. I mean, we hadn't bounced there a bunch of times. We did bounce there once before, but I don't think that's enough, especially now that we've hit the upper side. So it bounces and then it starts trending down again. Same thing, you get another second entry. Don't risk it. And this is a good reason why, because this time it does. It goes on down, and it actually has to end up working sideways back to the trend line before it bounces higher. And you can see a new low right here, double bottom, and so you get a first entry, second entry. So that's a failure. It is a little congested, so I did mark it green, but it's real close. I'll be honest with you, I like that trade because you do have the channel with a break and new low, and you can see you actually tried to go lower once, twice, three times as well. It does make a slightly lower low there as it touched that trend line, but that's a nice reversal bar. So with everything going on, maybe you take that trade. If you didn't, it's not long before you get a failure here. Notice this is a new low. First entry, second entry. So when it breaks higher right there, that's a failure. It's not quite to the EMA, but you can clearly see that trend line. If you draw it off these highs and just drag it down to the low, you can see we're bouncing off the trend line. So I like that one. And you can see it runs up pretty quickly. And we just kind of keep running up. We do get a close outside, another one. And then finally we top out, and the bottom just falls out of this thing. There is a nice bearish bar here. It's way away from the EMA, but it's an inside bar. It does make a matching high. It's not like it's a triple test. I mean, you might say, hey, we tried to go higher once, twice, three times, and then it turns down. But that's a little convoluted. I mean, maybe you argue for that to be green. If you don't take that trade, then there's no, this thing, the bottom just falls out. There's no setup. There's no warning it's coming. It's just like, hey. And that's what I imagine is coming soon on the daily chart. Something very similar. Again, I could be wrong, but that's what the chart's been telling us for a while now. So we're just kind of waiting on that cyan channel to play out, and it has not completely played out yet. We're still pushing forward. But anyway, we drop all the way down, we bounce, and we do get a close outside. We attempt to make a new low. Maybe you take this as a lower high, but there's no close outside on this. Yeah, maybe we overshot it there. I can't be certain we overshot that. I mean, it may look like that right there. So, but maybe you take that one. That's another one that you throw in there. Maybe it's green. I think it's risky. And of course, there's a second entry here. There's a little bit of room back to the EMA, and we did bounce there a couple times. So it's another one you could argue for a long right there, but it's hard to flip-flop between short and long like that. So when you start doing that, you're better off just to kind of sit tight. And you can see we just kind of chop it. We keep chopping tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until finally something gives and it goes higher. But there's just no way to enter any of this. This is just a first entry because you do make a new high. This is a first entry. No failures or anything there. Of course, we're in the 230 here. This little bounce takes us on into 230, and there's just nothing going on here. So really, after about lunchtime, there's a couple of green ones, but that's about it. So it's not a very good trading day. It's been like this, and I think it's because we're so overbought. You can see the looks like the bears are just itching to sell if they get a chance, but overall, for the most part, people are scared to sell. There's not enough sellers to take it lower, and the buyers everybody keeps saying, okay, if we're going to go higher, we're going with it, I guess, and we keep chopping up slowly, but we're continuing to go higher, and everybody's afraid to sell. Nobody's ready to sell yet. There's not a lot of buying coming in because of the volume and the volatility's dropped. But you can kind of see once it starts rallying up each day, people join in and go with it. And, the volatility picks up a little bit, the volume picks up a little bit, and we get a rally. It's been happening just about every day for 3 or 4 or 5 days now. At some point, that may, that may come to an end, and people are going to be unwilling to buy at those prices, and the sellers are going to say, "Hey, we're there now," and it could be that trend line on the daily chart. We could go higher than that. It could be another resistance area. And we may just keep going higher. People may throw in the towel and say, "Hey, this sell-off's over." But I think it's smoke and mirrors. I don't see I don't see anything in the economy that says things should be getting better. People should be real guarded right now, and so this seems like a bear market rally to me. That's what it looks like on the daily chart. That's what it feels like, and so we'll see. Again, don't hang your hat on that. Just kind of keep it in the back of your mind that so when it does come, it doesn't catch you off guard. And until then, as long as we keep going higher and you get a chance to buy, go with it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com.